I've been asked a few times what my approach is and how I take a black metal song and change it into one of my acoustic covers. So I thought I would do a little video and explain my approach. So the first thing that I do is go away and relearn that song, because a lot of the time the songs that I am converting into an acoustic cover are songs that I haven't played for a long time. So I go back and learn it, normally on the electric, and then I will transfer that onto the acoustic. Now the acoustic's obviously a lot harder to play that kind of stuff on, or this one is anyway. So then I relearn it on the acoustic. So that's the first stage, relearn the song. Next thing I do after I've relearned the song and applied it onto the acoustic is I figure out two guitar parts. So sometimes there's only one guitar riff going through, and I like to add a little bit of something underneath it or on top of that. So what I'll do is think about how I can separate those guitars. So I might have something like this. That part that I played the other day on my funeral. So I would look at those parts and figure out the chords that go behind it. And I'll add that in. If I'm playing riffs and I'm playing the same thing on both guitars, I'll just record the same thing on both guitars, and then I pan the guitars slightly left and right so that they're not both in the middle. So then what I will do is I will record each part with this mic, which is my SE Electronics X1S. And once I've recorded it, I record it to a click, by the way, I forgot to say that. To make sure that the tempo is consistent, I record it to a click and I use Logic as my workstation. So I record the first guitar part to a click, the second guitar part to a click, and the other part, and then I separate the two tracks, left and right. Once I've done that, I will then add some effects. The effects that I normally add to the guitar parts are a little bit of compression, just to even out the volumes, a little bit of EQ, just to change some of the frequencies, and a bit of reverb, because I like reverb on pretty much everything. So I'll show you the EQ, reverb and compression settings now that I normally use on these videos. So this track here, named L1, is my guitar track. Okay, so I've got on here Space Designer as my reverb, the compressor and the channel EQ. So the Space Designer, what I normally do is I have the dry signal at 100%, and then I add a touch of reverb so that it doesn't swamp the sound, but it adds a nice little echo to the background. For my compressor, I have a setting just called Acoustic, which I've saved in here, and it looks a bit like that. So I know that if you're not using Logic, it's going to look very different, but this is how I've got it set up. If you want to pinch my settings, just pause the video and steal those. And then for my channel EQ, I've done the same thing. So I've got it saved as acoustic guitar as a setting, and what I do on that is I've got a little bit of a boost on the bass, take out a little bit of the mids and add some highs just to give it a bit of clarity, and that is basically it. And then I would bounce that down, pan this left. If this was the other guitar part, I pan that onto the right, and that is how I record it. And only when I've done all of those things do I then bounce that track down, so I've got a single track that I can then add to my Patreon and use it as the track for the video. And then I play the song, and I play the song to the recorded guitar parts, and then place the recorded part under what I've played. So for example, on that part there, although I'm playing it and you can see me playing it, what you're actually hearing is the part that I've recorded earlier on. And the reason I do that is because sometimes I might make a mistake, so I need to do another take, and I don't want to have to do another take on video as well as audio. So I record the guitar parts first and then I play over the top of what I've recorded, and that pretty much sums it up. So so first of all I learn the song, then I apply it to acoustic, I look at the two guitar parts, I record it, I add effects. If you want to know a bit more about harmony and stuff like that, I've got some videos on here about harmony, but I would normally look at the key. So this one, so the notes we have in that little melody, B, F sharp, so that indicates a B minor chord, okay, D, E, so that could be an E major, E minor 7, okay, or D minor 9, also D major 9 in this case. And the reason it's a D major, because then we have that little lick. So we've got a C sharp, D, C sharp, A, B, F sharp, B, D. So again, that's a B minor, and then which is just an E minor arpeggio. Second half is just the same, and then we've got, which is an E minor arpeggio, and then which is an F sharp minor arpeggio. So yeah, that's my approach and that's how I do it. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, give it a like, subscribe. See you later.